everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be all about my all-time favorite drugstore products. So I saw my friend Andrea Mantiliano do this one fairly recently, and as I was watching her video, I thought, I should do that too. Because I feel like it's been a while since I've done kind of a drugstore or affordable makeup, focused video. So I thought it could be a good one to do, and especially to talk about some of my all-time favorites. I have a lot of products in here that I've loved for so many years that I've repurchased over and over. And then I have some new favorite goodies as well to mention. So I will go ahead and link her video down below if you haven't seen it yet. But if you want to see some of my all-time favorite drugstore products, why don't we go ahead and get started. So the first one I have is a primer, and it is newer to me, but I just mentioned it in my most recent makeup monthly. I put it out as, I think it was my standout product in my newsletter that I sent out, and it is from NYX. It is the Honey Do Me Up. This is a primer slash face serum. I am super into this guy. I think it's about like $16, $17. I'm going to go ahead and put the prices on the screen here as well, and also in the description box when I link them. I almost dropped it. But this guy I've just been so into. It is a really interesting kind of like different primer. It's a little bit sticky when I first put it onto my face, but once it sits there for a few seconds, honestly, I don't notice it being sticky anymore. But it gives a really nice kind of like healthy glow to my skin, and especially if I'm using something that's a more full coverage foundation or more mattifying foundation, I find myself keep reaching for this one, and I really like the effect that it's giving to my skin, so I really like this one from NYX. This is an eyelid primer that I want to recommend. I actually just used mine up, and I still need to purchase it. It was in my last makeup monthlies, no, my last makeup empties video. It's from e.l.f. and it's their Shadow Lid Lock Eye Primer, I think is what it's called. It's like $2 at Ulta, and it is such a great eyelid primer. It kind of helps with like discoloration, which I can deal with a lot on my eyelids. It's not too drying of an eyelid primer, and I think that one is really good if you're looking for a good eyeshadow base. So I have two favorite foundations that I want to mention. This first guy here has been a repurchase for me. It's probably no surprise that I'm going to mention the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. I love this foundation. I have said in several of my videos that I think this is my top favorite drugstore foundation. Once I started purchasing this, it was all in for me. Before I found this one, I was mostly a Maybelline girl. Like in high school, going into college, my mom wore a lot of Maybelline, so I wore a lot of Maybelline, and I was wearing a lot of their foundations, even though as I look back, and especially in like the beginning of my YouTube career, I wore a lot of Maybelline and a lot of Maybelline foundations, and they didn't always look the best on me, but I was kind of like, it's fine, I'll roll with it. And then as you get more into YouTube, you realize you can't do that because people can call you out real quick. No, I'm just kidding. But you also you understand. Like for me, I started to understand makeup more, what works best for my skin type. Like I didn't really know my skin type for a while. I definitely didn't know my undertone for a very long time. So I started to learn different things, my preferences and such. So when I found the L'Oreal True Match Lumi, it was just a match made in heaven. I am the shade N4. I think that's a really good match for me. I love that it has a pump. I love the coverage on it. It's a nice medium coverage. You can build it up even more if you want to. It gives a nice Lumi look to the skin, but nothing too overwhelming. I still mentioned it in my favorite summer foundations because it's not too much, it's not too overwhelming, but it's also really nice for me in the winter when I pull a little bit more dry, because then it helps kind of bring that luminosity and a little bit of more dewiness back to my skin. So this is a great foundation. The other one that I want to mention is from Covergirl, this Pore Foundation. I'm starting to have troubles pumping it out, so I'm probably going to need to repurchase this soon, and I will be repurchasing this when I'm out because it's truly one of my all-time favorite drugstore foundations. Obviously. But this is their Vitalist Healthy Elixir. I'm in the shade 740, which is natural beige. Again, it has a pump on it, and this one is a little bit more full coverage than the L'Oreal, and it also has more of a natural finish to it, which it's interesting. As I recently did my foundation declutter, my foundation collection and declutter video, I realized I always thought that my foundations were mostly on the Lumi or dewy side. And as I was going through it and saying my preferences, giving my little mini reviews on each one, I actually think I had more natural finish foundations than I did Lumi or dewy, which I thought was interesting. I didn't realize that. But I'm definitely a big fan of a natural finish for a foundation. It's not too matte, it's not overly dewy, it's like your skin, but it just looks better, and that's exactly what I think this one from Covergirl does. It's a great foundation. It has vitamins, it also has sunscreen in there. I think it's wonderful. I will definitely repurchase this guy when I need to. I have two concealers in here. The first one is, I don't even know for how many years I've been purchasing this concealer. I think it was before my YouTube days even, and I have no idea what number I'm on at this point, but it's been a lot of them. It's from Maybelline, and it's the Fit Me Concealer. I don't know how I discovered these. Again, I was just a big Maybelline fan in general, and I bought a lot from them, so I don't know if maybe that just had something to do with it, but I have purchased and repurchased the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and it's one of my favorites. I like the coverage on it. It's not too much, it's not too dry. It's not the most full coverage concealer, but some days I don't need that. It's another one too that as I've gotten older and more stressed, I've noticed that I'm tending to lean more towards the full coverage concealers, but I don't need that on a daily basis. And so when I don't need something with so much of an oomph, a lot of times I'm going for the Fit Me, and I still really do like this one. Another one is one that's a bit newer to me, but once I started trying it, I was so impressed with it. This is from NYX, and it's the HD Studio Photogenic Concealer. Big fan of this concealer. I bought it when I was testing my friend Kim's drugstore favorites, and I'm so happy she had this concealer on her list because it's kind of what pushed me over the edge to buy it. This had been on like my wish list and like in the back of my mind for a while, but I was like, I don't know, do I really need it? I'm not sure. So glad that I purchased this. This one is more full coverage than the Maybelline, but again, I really like the coverage on it. It's not too drying, and it just looks really nice under the eyes. So this is another favorite drugstore concealer. So I have a contour palette that I want to chat about here. This is from Wet n Wild. It's the Mega Glow Contouring Palette. I have mine in Dolce de Leche. When this came out, people were raving about it on YouTube, and I was going everywhere to find it. I think I finally found it at a Walmart, and fun fact about me is I don't really shop at Walmart. I kind of have like a personal vendetta against them for something that happened a very long time ago, but it's a very personal thing, and I just really very rarely step foot into a Walmart. I even went into my Walmart to find this because that is how much people were raving about it, and I love it. I actually shattered my first one. I took it traveling with me, and when I came home it was broke, and I was like, oh, no. But luckily it popped up at my CVS so I could repurchase it from my CVS, but that's how much I needed to have it back in my collection. Was I went out and I repurchased it right away. So on one side you have the setting powder, and that's actually what I do have under my eyes today. Oh, I always forget my disclaimers. If I look a little tired today, this is the second video that I'm filming, but the video that I filmed prior to this was the one where Aries was choosing my makeup. My dog was choosing my makeup, and that was kind of an exhausting video. Like the part with her actually picking things out took forever. It took so long because she was like, I'm trained not to eat your makeup. Why do you want me to pick up your makeup? So it was a much more challenging video than I thought. And then it was a very chatty video, so I'm kind of like, I'm tired. But I still wanted to get this one filmed so I could get it up on time. But yeah, that's what this makeup is from. So if you notice it's a little bit more minimal today, it's because that one was mostly focused on being chatty and not so much like, I'm going to show you something really cool with my makeup, because I really don't do that anyways. But this is the setting powder that I used today, and then the other side is a contour. I love both of these. I feel like I kind of like the contour or the setting powder side more, but I also really do like this contour. The packaging like isn't much to write home about, but it's Wet n Wild and it's super affordable. But I've learned my lesson, and I do not take this traveling with me because I was pretty upset when it broke. I have a couple bronzers in here to touch on. So this one here is from No7. This bronzer has been one of my favorite bronzers for quite some time. I have mentioned it continually on my channel, so it should, if you've been following me for a while, it should be no surprise that I'm going to talk about the No7 Caramel Bronzer. Love the packaging on this one. I love the mirror. It's a really nice bronzer. It's not orange. It's not too warm on me. The caramel bronzer, so nice. I've been wearing it for so long. I highly recommend. And then the other one that I wanted to mention, of course, is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is a really solid bronzer. I have been wearing this guy like crazy because it's in my 18 and 2018 Project Pan, and I am just not going through it, so it's a great value for your money. Physicians Formula is a little bit higher at drugstores, but it's not too high. I know that this one is a little bit higher price. I've been using it consistently for so long. I haven't even hit pan on it. I think it would last you a very, very long time. I am kind of bummed my packaging just recently broke on this one. The clasp broke for mine, and I mentioned it in my last Project Pan update video, and a couple people said it did too. So I don't really travel with this one anymore because I'm afraid it's going to bust, even though that'd probably help my Project Pan. But it's still a really solid bronzer. Alrighty, let's talk about some blush. So obviously a blush that I have to mention, there should really be no surprise, is from Milani. This is the Luminoso blush. Man, this is one of their baked powder blushes. I went on like a crazy hunt for these blushes when I first started hearing about them on YouTube because everybody was raving about them. I still really enjoy this blush here, the Luminoso, because it's such a nice, just like kind of blush with a little bit of like a gold shimmer to it, but nothing like, it's nothing too overwhelming. It's so nice. I feel like especially when I am a little bit tanner, this one looks so good on my particular skin tone, but these are still really nice blushes. I'm glad I went on a manhunt for them and found them. Another one is a bit newer to me, but this is such a nice blush as well. This is from Flower Beauty. It's one of their Flower Pots Powder Blush. This is in Peach Primrose. I will totally pick up more of these. People just started raving about these. I was seeing in them videos. So I found them at Ulta and I purchased this one here. I love peachy blushes especially, so that's why I gravitated towards this one, but they have a few other shades as well. Really nice blush. This blush to me is one of the longest lasting drugstore blushes out there, like longest lasting on my face. I mean, probably longest lasting in the pan too, because you get quite a bit of product, and I have used this several times and there's not even like the flower imprint has not even worn down at all, but truly very long lasting on the skin. If I'm going out for an extended amount of time, I know that my blush is not going to fade with this one from Flower. I got a couple favorite highlights to talk about, 3 highlights to talk about here. This one is from Essence. This is the Pure Nude Highlighter. This is such a nice highlighter. I've been talking about it for quite some time on my channel too, but I'm really impressed with this one. I feel like it gives you a lot of different options. When you apply a first layer, I feel like it's kind of a natural, like you're just kind of glowing from within, nothing too beaming, nothing too crazy, but you can build it up and create a really pretty highlight. It still doesn't give quite that like intensified crazy highlight, but not everybody wants that, and I feel like this is really good for like daytime or office highlight where you still have a little bit of something, but then if you want to like switch it up into night, you can just add a little bit more. But this is such a nice, smooth, pretty highlight. I've taken this one on vacations with me as well, and I think it's so pretty. And then the next one here that I want to talk about, this one is a newer one to me, but this one is a blinding highlight. This is from Revolution Beauty or Makeup Revolution. It's the Vivid Baked Highlighter, and the one I have is in Peach Lights. Again, this is one that was recommended to me from Kim, and this one is so beautiful. I guess I can swatch these highlights for you so you know what I'm talking about. So this first one here is from Essence, and can you see there, it's nothing like too wild. I don't have my ring lid on right now. It's nothing too wild, but it's still there. It's still gonna give you a little bit of something. This one from Revolution Beauty, there it is. There it is right there. It almost has this kind of like, it's almost like some sort of shift to it, like a metallic or like a duochrome or something. It just, it's really, really pretty, and I was very impressed when I tried these. I haven't gravitated towards Revolution Beauty a ton, but when I saw this on Kim's list, I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Really good, really glad that I did, very impressed with it. The last one that I want to mention is from Colourpop, and again, I kind of went back and forth of like, should I mention Colourpop or not? But Colourpop can be now found at Ulta, and I think there's only 2 items I have in here from Colourpop, and they are both available at Ulta Beauty. Not everything from Colourpop is available at Ulta, but this is the Flexitarian highlight. This one is the most blinding out of the 3 that I'm showing you, and it is gorgeous. I did my best brand buys video the other day, and I mentioned this one, and so many people said in there how much you guys love Flexitarian as well. That's just sick. That's not even right, man. That is freaking a booming highlight. I mean, it's so gorgeous. It's so smooth. This is a beautiful highlight, beautiful highlight. I still made the executive decision to include this one in here because it's such a nice highlight. It's truly one of my favorites, and I just felt like I'd be doing people a disservice. if I didn't mention it in here. I realized that I forgot to talk about two more face products here, and these are both powders. So this one is from Maybelline. It's my Better Skin Transforming Powder. If you've been following my Project Pan, this one is in my Project Pan 2. I'm really surprised that I have not hit pan on this one because it's been one of my favorite powders for a long time, and I continually carry it in my clutch with me. I like the mirror on it. I actually do like this sponge on it. The Better Skin line from Maybelline is one that I really liked. I actually did really like that foundation as well. It was probably one of my favorites out of the Maybelline foundations was the one from the Better Skin. I also like the concealer, but I really do like this face powder. And another one here is a new favorite of mine from Covergirl. I've been raving about this powder. It is their Vitalist Healthy Powder. I think that this one is really nice as well. I have been wearing it continually lately to set my foundation, and I just think it makes the skin look really smooth, really nice, and almost like really airbrushed. So these are two great powders. So I have a couple different palettes to talk about. Like I said, I had another one from Colourpop that I wanted to recommend. This is the one in collaboration with Kathleen Lights. This is in Dream Street. Again, I won't go too much into depth because I did just talk about this one in my Best Brand Buys video that I posted last week, but I really enjoyed this eyeshadow palette. I think it's great quality. Again, you can pick it up from Ulta, which I think is great, but I've been having so much fun and creating so many different looks with this palette. Another one that I want to recommend is the one from BH Cosmetics in collaboration with Carli Bybel. I really enjoyed the first palette that they came out with. This one is the Deluxe Edition palette. So it has eyeshadows, and then it also does have highlights down here as well. This is such a nice, pretty, like neutral palette. I also really love the mauves in here. The highlights are really like what stands out to me in this palette. I was really impressed with the first one. I was even more impressed with the second one. And then another palette that I want to recommend, this one was tough because I think that it's more expensive from the drugstore side, but it is still considered an affordable brand, and you can get it at Ulta, so I'm just going to sneak it in here just real quick. But it's from Morphe, and it's the Jaclyn Hill palette. This one is just one of my all-time favorite palettes. I've always had really good things to say about this palette. There's so many different options that you get in here, and the quality is really nice on this one. So again, this one is more expensive, but I felt like if I didn't include it, people would be like, why didn't you put that palette in there? And I'm like, I don't know what's right or what's wrong, man. We are getting down there, so I have some mascaras to recommend. So first up, I want to recommend this one from Maybelline. It's the Total Temptation Mascara. Now, honestly, I think Maybelline mascaras are fantastic. Again, I really started out with Maybelline when I was getting into makeup, but so many of their mascaras have impressed me so much. Those are basically the only mascaras that I wore, and I felt like I made a comment in one of my recent videos about people recommending the Urban Decay Perversion mascara to me, and I even said in the video like, nah, I'll stick with my Maybelline, because that's a true story. It's like all I wore for the longest time. So really, I don't think you can go wrong with a lot of the Maybelline mascaras. Just currently my favorite one is the Total Temptation. I've already repurchased this one as well, and I really enjoy it. Another absolute favorite mascara of mine is the Flower Beauty Zoom In Ultimate Mascara. Honestly, I have the Lash Warrior on from Flower right now, and it's a great one too. This one I've actually just repurchased myself. I've already gone on to repurchase it because I enjoy it so much. It has the Twist 3-in-1 wand for length, for volume, and for curl, and I'm so impressed with this one. For brow pencils, I have two brow pencils as well. I felt like I had a lot of 2 in each category, some 1, some 3, but for the majority was 2. But hey, that's just how it works. Okay, so this is also from the Total Temptation line from Maybelline. It's their Total Temptation Brow Definer. The instant I started trying this, I fell in love with it. I've repurchased this one like 2 times now. Brow products are fairly quick to go through, especially when you actually start doing your brows. Because for like my first year on YouTube, I didn't. Big no if you're a beauty channel. Those comments will haunt you till the end. But this one I think is fantastic. Another one, this one has impressed me so much. This is a new release from Covergirl. It's their Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. Yeah, that's what it is. I've already gone through my one in blonde, and I've been using my one in like soft brown or honey brown. I can't remember which one. But if you've been seeing me with darker brows, it's because I've been using that one from Covergirl because I'm so impressed with it. But for some reason, they don't have blonde on the Ulta website, and I'm like, can someone explain this to me? What? So I don't know where I'm supposed to purchase it, but super fine. It kind of reminds me of, this one reminds me of the Benefit Goof Proof. This one reminds me of the Benefit Precisely My Brow, but these are great, affordable drugstore options. And then I have some setting powders to chat about. These are from Flower Beauty, and I'm just really impressed with both of these. I have the long-lasting setting spray with the matte finish, and then I also have the hydrating setting spray with the dewy finish. I really enjoy these. I've said good things about them on my channel before, and I don't honestly know which one I prefer more. I've noticed myself reaching for the matte ones more because of the summer months, and I kind of go more like normal combo in the summer, I would say. So the matte one I like, but the dewy one, especially when I first got this a couple months back when I was more dry, it feels so nice. It has a really fine mist on it, and I also like the smell on these. So those are some really nice setting spray options. And then for my lip products, I wanted to really mention like my all-time favorite, like take it back. What have I been purchasing for so long? What have I been repurchasing and constantly recommending to my friends before I even had a YouTube channel? And the first one for sure are these ones from Maybelline. I recommend the Maybelline lipsticks so much. So this one is from the Color Sensational line. Honestly, a lot of the Maybelline lipsticks I just full on recommend, like their regular kind of like bullet lipsticks. I really recommend. This one is in Truffle Teas. I've repurchased Truffle Teas. It's just like my classic kind of brown nude, and it's so beautiful. Clay Crush is a great one. That's another nude that I absolutely love. That one has more of the matte finish, but these are affordable and they are just great lipsticks. I've been buying and wearing them for so long. And then of course the other ones are the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. I've been loving the Soft Matte Lip Creams for the longest time. They're a really nice option for a liquid lipstick, but a comfortable liquid lipstick. Doesn't quite dry down all the way, but it's still comfortable and it's still fairly long wearing, but at the same time super affordable. London is one of my all-time favorite nudes. I've gone through several of London. Abu Dhabi is another favorite of mine. That one's a great nude. But again, me and the Soft Matte Lip Creams, we go way back. Okay, so that is going to be everything for my all-time favorite drugstore products. I think I got everything. I'm looking over it all. I hope I didn't miss anything. I of course will have everything linked down below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too repetitive. I feel like there's so many items in here that if you have been following me for a while, you probably know them, but my channel is growing, which is so exciting. So maybe if you are newer, you don't know, but it's also kind of nice to have like a wrap-up video that I can kind of send people to if they're wondering about my favorite affordable products. So I hope that you found this helpful. You'll have to let me know in the comments below some of your favorite drugstore products. But other than that, if you guys did enjoy this one, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video.